Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the How They Did It podcast. I'm here with Seth Green. I watched Seth Green had a podcast with another one of our former guests, Big Paul. You guys have a long relationship. I watched the podcast. I learned a ton from it, not only for as far as training and nutrition and all the things that most people watch this podcast for, but also for the business side of things, which I was really interested to hear your development is that. And yeah, I want to get into all these topics with you. I'm a new follower of Seth, but I'm enjoying everything he's posting so far. And thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it.
So Seth, I'm going to jump straight in here. I want to talk to you about something that I've had to deal with recently with a client. I'm curious if you've had any experience with this. I had a couple of my clients now get off of testosterone for the first time in 2 years around. They were taking TRT doses. We changed to a different concierge doctor who recommended that they wanted to do a bulk, they wanted to gain a certain amount of muscle. And the concierge doctor told them that he believes he should increase their dose. Went from doing about 125 milligrams of testosterone a week to doing 500 milligrams of testosterone a week. Yeah, we saw obviously like a great change in their physique. Gained probably 7 kilograms of weight total over the 6 months period. And we then did a cut. We stayed on the same testosterone during the cut. And now he's done with the cut. He was down. He hit, I think around, from the eye, you might think it's under 10%, but probably just about 10% body fat. And now he's like, I want to get off. I've been on for a while. He didn't really have a strong reason why, but he's like, I want to get off completely. So we're getting off for the first time. I actually don't have any experience with this. Most of the clients I've dealt with, they're on TRT and they stay on TRT for basically permanently. And yeah, I'm curious what your thoughts are on post-cycle therapy, and have you had any experience with that yourself or with clients?
Yeah, I haven't had any clients come off all the way, but I did myself after my first cycle, actually.
Okay.
And it was, I kind of used the old HCG method of like scaling the HCG down throughout time as things come down. And I remember once I got to like 4 to 6 weeks, I just started breaking out in acne horribly, like the shoulder acne, like the hormonal acne from it, from your estrogen going up, test being down, feeling like shit, a big grease ball. So it wasn't that fun. And then I kind of thought about it. I'm like, why am I coming off? I'm like, I was just coming off to come off. There was no actual reason why. Yeah. So I ended up going back on a TRT dose, and I've kind of been on it since. But in terms of clients, no, I haven't had anybody actually come off. Most of mine are actually trying to come on because they see my content and stuff, and they want to learn more. I have some guys that are worried about fertility, so they'll rail the HCG protocol and try to bring that number back up. A lot of them work with doctors too on it also. They might just ask me a couple questions, but I'm like, hey, your doctor's going to cover it too. And they haven't had any problems with fertility, but yeah, I really haven't had too many clients want to come off all the way. So, and that's one of those things that I feel like it changes too. Like when you start looking stuff up, people always have a new PCT protocol, like, oh, add this, add that. But I mean, consistently, I always see the NOLVA and the HCG mentioned, but at the same time, your body's not going to restart if you're still railing all the HCG. So at some point, you almost have to just do it cold turkey and say, fuck it at that point and just suck it up and deal with it. It's not a pleasant process, but you kind of accepted that fate.
I find it funny because my general intuition, and I talk with a few doctors. I consult regularly with Dr. Dean Samar for these things. He's very great in it. And basically, a lot of the recommendations was like, come off, let the esters clear your body completely. That might take like 2 to 4 weeks, like especially since most people are taking cypionate. And we were seeing, and I was seeing it, like my clients were like, what do we do? Like we got our first blood test after a week and their testosterone's like 200. And they're like, there's like a panic. And I'm like, this is kind of the game. Like, I don't think jumping into taking in clomiphene right away is probably the best idea. Like, we should really let everything clear out, get a good idea of where we're at, and then see what we need to do.
Yeah, because that's what I've always understood is when you're still using that stuff, you're not really giving your body a chance to restart everything. So it's like you're just kicking the can down the road, but not like actually letting stuff happen. So at some point, you just got to embrace the suck on it, I guess.
Yeah, I personally have been on testosterone now for about 2 years. I think this is closing 2 years. TRT doses, lower TRT doses. Like I did most of the time, like 75 milligrams to 100 milligrams of testosterone per week. I did it originally just because my client really didn't want to do it by himself. I traveled with him full time. He was like, he wanted to do it, but he was terrified to do it by himself. And he was like, do it with me. I'll pay for you to do it. I said, listen, if I get on, I don't see myself ever getting off. So I want you to be willing to accept that you're going to pay for me forever, because it's not just today.
Yeah.
I'm not planning on doing this get on, get off situation. If I'm going to get on, I'm going to get on for real. I did it, and they ended up finding I had like 200 natural testosterone, 250, I think it was. And it probably due, they said, to the post concussion syndrome, because I took a lot of shots to the head from when I was fighting professionally.
You know what's funny? That's the reason why I started too. I had post concussion syndrome, and my HPTA just
Really?
wasn't. Yeah, it was. I umpired baseball in the center. I used to. I can go back to it at any given time. Took a foul ball to the mask.
Oh,
Had a really nasty concussion. Like I had the post concussion stuff for like 3 or 4 months, and was feeling like shit. Then my blood test, and my test was down in like the 240s or something like that. And that was around the time I just kind of wanted to start dabbling anyway. So I just said, fuck it, let's do it. I felt so much better. My sleep improved, everything else. So I was like, I'm not really going back at this point. Like, it's not worth it. So it's kind of funny you had the same experience with that. And I started looking, I don't know if you've ever did any research in it. There is some research with HPTA disruption, like in post-concussion syndrome. But the research is so new, like it's hard to get concrete answers on it too.
Yeah, well, that was kind of like, because I was talking with basically one of these concierge doctors. They work a little bit more in the gray areas and the newer research, and he basically, that was his recommendation for me, was like, listen, actually, your client, we can optimize his testosterone, but for you, we can actually like replace it and get you to like normal levels, and that would actually be really beneficial for you. Like you notice it in your everyday life.
And it's funny, the doctor I talked to too, so he's not even like my real doctor or anything. He was at one of, I'm not going to like, tell you the university, so I'll give him away or anything, but he worked with the U.S. Olympic team in Montreal for years.
Oh, okay.
And he just did like strictly concussion research and everything. And I did a consult with him because I just looked him up, and he was working at a big university. He actually had me come down there and do like a test for him for an experiment. But he gave me a list, like we talked for an hour and a half. I got more out of this than I did any other doctor, but he gave me a list of like peptides and other shit to try to help with the post-concussion syndrome that they tried in Montreal, where they can get away with more in Canada over the years with the Olympic testing and all that. So that was interesting to me.
Oh, that's super interesting. Yeah. I've always wanted to dig deeper into it, especially with the brain lesions. Paul actually told me about some research. I never dug into it, so I don't want to misspeak too much. But he told about some research with GH and the potential with healing of traumatic brain injuries. And it
wouldn't surprise me. It's one of those things where I feel like the concussion research it's so new still, and because you think the NFL lawsuits and all that just happened in the early 2000s. Like, we're less than 20 years into like the hardcore research on this stuff. I imagine like by 2050 we'll have all kinds of protocols that we don't have nowadays.
Yeah, I imagine so too, especially with the rate of technology changing now. And like, speaking of the rate of technology, I wanted to ask you about your thoughts on this. I basically started using GLP-1s recently for the first time, but I've had clients do it since basically 2021 in the beginning. We had some of these concierge doctors that were able to get us obviously some of the clientele that I work with, they, as soon as something comes out and it gets popular in their circle, they want to, they want to play. So they wanted to try it. In the beginning, I was kind of like, I didn't know about it. And my experience with clients was they would get on it and they would just kind of forget about all the basics that they had to do. Like, they wouldn't care about the protein intake. Their training was a little bit lackluster. They would skip trainings more often because they didn't have that, like, oh my goodness, like I don't feel bad. You know, it wasn't like they weren't guilt training, which in some sense is good, but it stopped the intensity of the training being as frequently. And I saw
Yeah.
people losing muscle, and I was like, I don't have enough information. Are they losing the muscle because, you know, all these other things are going down, or is there something inherently with the GLP-1s? And it wasn't until recently I kind of took a complete 180 switch when I started seeing clients, getting them to really follow protocols and being a little more on it. And I was seeing the results were outstanding. Do you have you? I heard that you use retatrutide, right?
Oh yeah, I got a whole YouTube series on it. So I wanted to be one of the early adopters, but not the first guinea pig. So I waited for Chase Irons to put out his series on it. Then when Chase did it, he felt okay. I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to order it too. So I've been on it for almost a year now. I was updating it weekly on YouTube, but it kind of got to a point where, you know, things leveled out. So it wasn't really worth continuing, you know, telling it. But I did notice like the heart rate going way up at first when I was on it, and I was a little like skeptical with that, and I was trying to microdose, and then I found out just the one bolus dose works better for me. But since doing that and having my clients use it and everything, like honestly, I've never seen anything with the muscle loss and all that. If anything, it just speeds up the fat loss, and you feel like you're like, it doesn't like nuke my appetite, but I feel like I forget to eat meals sometimes. Like I'll be like here doing a podcast or something. I get done. I'm like, shit, that I'm on meal 2 or 3 or 4. Like I don't remember where I was at because I don't think about it, which usually I'm a pig. Like usually I will fucking eat everything under the sun, and it's hard to turn off that signal. So for me, it helps with that. And I stick to like 4 milligrams ish now, but I worked up to 8 at one point. 8 started to give me some diarrhea. So I stopped there. But I've seen good results with it. My clients have. Honestly, I've been impressed with it more so than anything else. Although I've had 2 people, not my clients, but 2 people I know said they had the skin reactions. I don't know if you've heard about that.
I've heard, yeah.
They got acute skin reactions where they just get a rash all over after taking it. It's weird. Like 2 out of like maybe 200 people I've talked to that have taken it.
Yeah, I've actually heard of people saying about people they know that's happened to, but I've never actually met. And I recently created a protocol just for people taking GLP-1s like that. I actually partnered with Dr. Dean St. Martin. We like have a whole supplement package as that goes along with the coaching. And if you would like, there's also blood testing panels and stuff for it with it, just for people taking GLP-1. And people told us like, oh, my friend took a shot and he got this rash, and I've never actually seen it though. I did it for the first time. I took tirzepatide. I did it because I was basically I had to get lean to do the advertisement for the GLP-1s, and my business partner's like, you know, you're looking a little fluffy. You gotta do this thing. You gotta be lean. And I was like, all right. Well, I was like, let me get on actually, because I've been coaching people, but I'd never done it myself, and I was like, that's not really. It's hard to really understand something unless you firsthand went through it and understand. And
yeah, I'm the same way with stuff when I'm like, if I haven't tried it, I won't advise you to use it, but I'll use it first, let you know.
I'll try. I'll guinea pig myself to see what's up. I tried it. I was out. I was a 265-pound obese kid that you know became an MMA fighter. Like, so I struggled with eating my whole life. My eating appetite is out of control. It was the first time in my life I didn't think about food. I was like, what's going on? Like, I don't even notice and I don't eat anymore. Like, I'm happy to have a chicken breast and vegetables because it's like halfway through, I'm like, I don't really care about this anymore.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I've always been one, if I have food in the house, I'll fucking hammer it. But if I keep it out, I'm good. But when I was on that, I remember I was talking to a girl at the time, and she wanted to make the Ninja Creamy up like recipes. So we had some Oreos and stuff in the house, and I would have just freaking hammered those things in a normal scenario. But I was able to leave them up in the cupboard and not touch them until she came over to make the stupid thing. So that was one thing I noticed. Like I didn't even think about them, whereas before I would have hammered the whole freaking sleeve in like 2 days.
I have a rule. Like, I remember I first met my wife. She like got the mini Ben and Jerry's, and like she's like, oh, we'll just have one every night. And I was thinking in my head like, this isn't gonna work, but I didn't want to let her know that I'm a psychopath. So I was like, oh yeah, for sure. And like we ate it, and then she went to bed, and as she was like asleep, I got up and I just devoured the rest of them. And she woke up, and I was like, yeah, this can't happen. If it's in here, I can't sleep. I'm thinking about the Ben and Jerry's. I just can't be.
I'm the
I'm like a
same,
drug
dude.
addict. I can't have that.
Ice cream is the worst for me. I'm the same way. I remember this is when I used to go out to the bars and stuff. They had the Girl Scout Thin Mints ice cream. I found it at
Yeah.
Walmart when it first came out, and we got like the quart of it. And we went out to the bars and came back, and I ate the whole freaking thing. And I just woke up with the worst stomachache ever. I had terrible diarrhea. I'm like, all that dairy. I'm like, Jesus. Like, I just can't stop eating it. So ice cream, I just keep out of the house because I'm the same way with ice cream. Now, the little Halo Tops that are like 300 calories, like those I can survive with, but I get one at a time if I do.
Yeah,
And now that I have the Ninja Creamy, I just do that. I make one creamy a week, and that's my only one I get. So,
but the creamy is like I'd never actually tried it because I'm always on the road. I can't carry a Ninja Creamy with me, but I want to eat it so bad. So like, if they can actually get something that's even kind of close to ice cream for like 200-300 calories,
it is.
I'm in.
It's actually really good. There's a cookbook somebody has, this flexible dieting lifestyle guy. He has a cosmic brownie one. I don't add the cosmic brownies on top like he does. But it's just like so fudgy and everything. It tastes like normal ice cream and it whips it up perfectly. And that's usually what I make.
Oh, that sounds like heaven right now. I just got off of a 10-hour flight. I've been like, this is actually a good segue to this because I'm actually on, I got off for 2 weeks. The tirzepatide because I was going to my cousin's wedding and there's gonna be a lot of alcohol. And the one thing I have noticed that if I drink alcohol when I've been on the GLP-1s or the GLP-1 GIP, I get extremely nauseous for like an amount of alcohol that is like I would consider like a very like chilled out night that I got tipsy, but if I'm on the GLP-1s or the GIP-1s, I get wrecked. And so I was like, okay, I'm not going to take it because I don't want that to happen. And I know for sure it's going to be a big drinking thing at the wedding. It's Greeks; they don't they don't mess around. But I got back on now, and I did 2.5 milligrams. So I thought like, okay, I've been 2 weeks off. I don't need to go back to 5. And I got to say, 3 days in, I'm feeling pretty hungry considering like that for me normally 2.5 killed me. How often do you titrate up when you're taking these?
I was doing it progressively for YouTube anyway for a while, but I basically sat 4 to 6 on Reddit depending on what's going on. So the last weekend you were at the wedding, I was in Nashville, so same thing. That's why we scheduled this week. But I drink once every maybe 6 months. I go on vacation, I'll have some beers. Like that's my thing. Yeah. Same thing, but the Reddit truth didn't bother me. Like some people like are warning you with the GLP-1s, don't do it. You're gonna feel like shit. I mean, I felt like shit because I haven't drank in a long time. Some guys at the bar were just loading me up, and I just what's this going? But that's why I felt like shit. It wasn't because of the GLP-1, I don't think. Because after the first night, I was fine. But yeah, I don't really titrate up that much anymore because 4 to 6 is like a comfortable range for me because I started bloating and getting like distended too. So like with the EAAs I drink during the workout, like usually they're fast digesting, but the retatrutide slows down the digestion so much I have a little hernia. So if I'm doing legs or something, it just freaking sticks out and all that fluid just sits there and it's just uncomfortable. I'm like just trying to like massage it out because it just feels like everything just sits in your stomach like a rock. So if you're doing the leg press and it's coming down on you, you feel like you're gonna shit yourself because it's just hanging out there. I don't like that feeling. So I try to do it away from leg day, but I don't go above the 6 because 8, it just backs me up, and then I have like some diarrhea and stuff. It's not great. So I've never wanted to try going to 10 or 12 with Reddit because of that.
Yeah, I never have gone above 5 because it was so effective to me the first round that like 2.5 for the longest time would make me. I would have to force myself to eat. I was like, oh, I got to get 190 grams of protein in today. It was like I knew that was gonna be.
And I've heard that with TERS, that TERS absolutely destroys your appetite. Like they can't eat anything. But Reddit is just the food noise. I don't think about it, but I can eat whatever I want still.
Yeah, it's interesting. So do you use it for like? Are you combining it with other peptides at the moment? Or are you just on peptide?
Kinda. When I remember, like I have SLUPP. I was using that consistently for a while. Melanotan I always use. People always make fun of me because I'm the Melanotan guy, like in our group chats and stuff. Like anybody has a Melanotan question, they fucking ask me. I'm usually paper white, so.
I was about to say, you look pretty tan. It's working.
Yeah, and this isn't even as bad. I can get way darker on this too. Yeah. My birthday comes up in a few weeks here. I'll really start to hammer down for the beach. Melanotan, SLU. What else is in my kit there? GH, obviously.
Yeah.
And then there's one other thing in there, I think. SLU, Retta. That might be it, peptide-wise.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Are you on the TRT dose of testosterone as well right now?
On a what?
Are you on the TRT dose of testosterone at the moment?
A lot more than that.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I was on like a blast. Although like since like the last 2 weeks, I've been tapering down. I'm probably like 350 tests, like 300 pre-more mass, whatever one I grab that day type of deal.
Yeah.
But when I was cutting real hard, yeah, we were doing like a full cycle along with the Retta and SLU and some Helios, the Aminoxylum, the Clen, and Yohimbine together. That just made me feel like crap. Like I was just burned out. Like I couldn't get business stuff done when I was on that, so I stopped using it. I think
Was
it's
it
a
just like
Yohimbine.
feeling tired, or
I was just gassed. Like the first week, it felt good. The first week, I actually felt like I got strength back because I was buried in cardio. Like we were doing a ton of stuff. I was like flat. And I felt like it helped me push through that for about 2 weeks. And then after that second week, I just felt like shit. Like I remember one Sunday I sat in my chair, and that's my like off day to film and do any other business stuff that I needed to catch up on. And I did nothing until 5 o'clock. Like I just sat there, didn't even shower. I was just burned out. I couldn't even like brain fog, everything else just dead.
Wow.
So I was like, nah. And talking to some guys who take it, they always say that Yohimbine seems to mess up their stomach and make them feel off. So I wonder if it's that more than the Clen. Oops, sorry, I hit that. But I've always used albuterol in the past because I ordered like 600 pills from China way back in the day. So I had this freaking box of albuterol, so I just use that usually. But I never used Clen before, and I wanted to try it with the Retta and the SLU and see what could happen.
Yeah. How are the results though, as far as aesthetically? Were you pleased with them, or you didn't really?
Yeah, I've always been one too where I like to cut as hard as I can without the fat burners first before adding them. Typically, the Reddit was a little different because I was using it for the YouTube purposes and just seeing how it worked. But yeah, I mean, the SLU I did notice at first. I feel like it levels out pretty fast though. Like I don't notice it as much at this point. But yeah, I mean, it was probably the leanest I've been in quite a while, and it was even to the point where my coach was like, if you want to step on stage and do like a men's physique show, we could probably do it in like 2 weeks if you want. But I was like, nah, I care more about the business stuff than burying myself right now, honestly.
To get that lean for content, like, okay, if you had to, let's say what body fat percentage do you think you're at right now?
Couldn't even tell you right now because I'm so bloated from that trip still. But I mean, I say I was probably down around like 7% or so at that point where we had that conversation. He's like, you could smoke. He was like, you could smoke anybody at a local show right now if you wanted to. I'm like, I just don't want to go through it all. Honestly, I have too much business shit I'm doing right now. At some point I will, but I'm just like when I'm in the middle of scaling, because I worked physical therapy for 10 years and like literally in March I quit full time. Well, I was part time, so I went full time coaching. And so really the end of March through April was my first month working for myself. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not taking any other like unnecessary risk and screwing myself out of the business aspect now that I went all in on it. So let me get the thing stabilized and then we'll think about it.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Maybe we could talk about that a bit. So how long were you doing online training for people pre-quitting your physical therapy job?
I've been in it for like 3 years, but obviously it was very, very small scale. Like only had like a couple clients to start with. Then last year picked up a little bit. I think we made like 10,000, 12,000. It was like a side hobby. Like on the weekends, essentially, I was doing everything, answering all the DMs, running ads on the weekend. And then my coach is Colton, who's been on Paul's podcast before. He was telling me like his style of doing it and how he was super successful doing it. So I kind of adopted his style and I just started just spam posting because I built up a lot of YouTube videos, but I never repurposed them as short form. Yeah. So all throughout December, I would stay up till 4 a.m. every Saturday, scheduling out as many posts as I could for Instagram. So it would drop 4 to 6 posts every day because I'd schedule 2 and then I would make 2 more myself and then post them manually. So that way I was building my following as fast as possible. And then we started treating it like a business and getting appointment setters and all that in my DMs and then going from there, building it up like that. And then that first month, it went from where I'm like, okay, I'm happy. Like my end goal was like, if I make $100,000 combined between therapy and this year, I'd be happy. Yeah. And we made almost $20,000 the first month. I'm like, okay, well, we might have stumbled into something here. Because I'd worked with my manager and I actually went down to part-time in January in physical therapy. So I was working therapy 3 days a week, doing coaching 4 days. I was trying to stagger it down. And then it got to the point where I enjoyed the coaching more and therapy was actually the worst part of my week. So I was like, okay, at this point we need to make the change.
That's interesting. When you do it, like, how do you feel? Have you trained people in person outside of the physical therapy, or just from the physical therapy training?
And I've purposely avoided it. My gyms have asked me every single year that I've been down here. I'm from New York originally. I moved down south. People try to do it all the time, but I'm like, in therapy, I have to do this all day, every day in person. I don't want to go from that and then go to my one sacred place at the gym and do the same fucking thing, because then people are going to boogie all the time about it. And like, that's the one thing I don't want. Let me put my headphones on and be left alone. Like, that was my thing.
Completely makes sense. As far as like, well, you do have the experience with the therapy though. Training people online, where do you see? What differences have you told? What's some of the benefits you think for training people online versus like the more in person stuff?
I mean, in person, I guess you build a little more of a relationship one-to-one because you're there hands-on with them. And like for form stuff, I could see it being better, but I feel like the online is just better for just about anything else because you have that constant contact, you know. I mean, technically, yeah, if you're doing online, you give them, or in person, you give them your number, you can still have that same point of contact, but at that point, you're almost doing online anyway. So just having the extra points of contact, I do the weekly check-ins, we do daily like updates on things. I can address every aspect of it too, you know, the diet, the training, PEDs. I offer TRT through a clinic now as part of my thing, and the accountability part too, because we have a community built into my thing too, where all the higher end guys get together and they talk and push each other too. So it's almost like a group coaching aspect in one part of that, like with the guys that are like me, where like, and when I'm at the gym, I don't want to be in a fucking group, like leave me the fuck alone. But when I'm out of the gym talking about the stuff, I like being in a group of guys in the same situation that are trying to optimize things. Like it's nice having that community, but leave me the fuck alone when I'm actually lifting, you know?
When I'm actually doing my thing, I don't want to be bothered. But in the outside, I love talking about people.
Yeah. And I kind of like that blend there because it allows you to have the community thing, but also be able to do your own shit and not be bothered at the same time.
Yeah, I found, you know, when I trained people in person, I trained professional fighters for a long time. And then I was training people in person, and then I've been traveling with my clients. When I started online, in the beginning, I was like, I don't know the amount of value that I'm going to be giving to people online. Is it worth it? Is it a good deal? And what I've realized, actually, I think it's more value because when I train a client, I might, you know, by the time I stopped training one-on-one clients, I was doing about $200 per 45-minute session. So you would come and do a 45-minute session with me. We'd shake hands at the end. I mean, if you message me, I'll message you back. But it's not my job. It's going to be, you know, you're going to be in the line after my mom, my girlfriend, and everybody else. At some point, I'll get back to you. Online, I have like dedicated hours of the day that I go on. I'm checking everybody's messages, checking their meals, checking their food. If they've sent me any technique videos, like, hey, I'm doing the squat like this, you know, get it back to them. I have a weekly call. I'm like, you actually get way more of me.
Yeah. And that's where I'm at too. So like, I didn't get into it. I started working with Paul, and Paul kind of encouraged me to start doing it because I was one of Paul's clients to start with, actually. I've done YouTube actually in the past for like gaming stuff, but he encouraged me to start posting and stuff. And I hired him for the bodybuilding coaching. And I'm like, I kind of enjoy the extra touch points. Like, I'll come home from the gym. I mean, him and I might bullshit about something like over text, but like anytime I have a question, I can get it answered right away. And you get the extra support. Whereas like if you're doing in person, you got to wait till your next session, or, you know, as you said, like these are me hours because you're with your family and all that. You feel like you're bugging them. Whereas,
sorry about that.
You're good.
No. After. No, yes, thank you.
Okay, what time?
In about an hour?
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Nah, you're good. But yeah, that's the one nice thing is I feel like you get more touch points and it doesn't feel like you're bothering them, and they're like family time too.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a big issue too, and I think that's a big thing too. And I think that also the clients don't realize when they're showing up on their meals, and I'm like, hey, listen, you know, like up here, you see how you ate, like.
Yeah, you can see it when they're bullshitting. You fucking know it. Like, it almost holds you more accountable because you have to log your shit and they see it.
Yeah, it's like you tell me you didn't eat anything from like 1 in the afternoon to like 6 at nighttime, and then you had a chicken breast and vegetables. Like there was nothing. Well, you know, I had a couple bites of the Snickers bar. Did that? Like I would have never known that if we were just training. You would come in, you would pay me, we'd high five each other, and you would tell me what you did. I would have no reason not to believe you or believe you. It would just be my gut feeling.
Yeah,
And I think
I've only had one guy that lied to me, and I knew it because he only lost like 1 pound, and I mean I had him at like 14,000 steps and like down to 1,400 calories. I'm like, there's no way you're logging this right. Like I confronted about it. He never admitted it, but I was like, there's no way. Like mathematically, this does not happen.
It's funny. I had a client recently, and online, and he has an insane appetite, right? Insane. He loves training, especially like high intensity cardio stuff. So his appetite's already a 10 out of 10. Like the guy can eat 4 pints of raspberries a day. Like I told him, eat raspberries. No one gets fat off eating raspberries. He's like, I saw in the log 4 pints. I'm like, oh yeah, I think you misput. He's like, no, I ate 4 pints of raspberries. I'm like, wow. And he does super high intensity cardio like exercises, which make him starving. And at some point, he was like, man, I'm not losing weight. I'm like, man, your deficit is like 2,800. It's a small, like, I know guys that are 260 jack they're staying there to lose weight. You're 230 not jacked. And, like, you're probably at like a 300 calorie deficit. Like it's going to take time. And it's funny that over this constantly battling, we're holding him to it because he's like, I don't want to go lower. If I go lower, he thinks, he's going to lose his mind and have a big binge basically. Mm-hmm. And I was like, fine, let's not go lower. Just be patient. And now we've slowly dropped it. He's like, oh man, it's working. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have known that if I couldn't be constantly checking his calories. I know he's honest with me because I'm saying, like, yeah, it makes sense you're not dropping, man. You're at a slow deficit. And being able to be so interactive with him day over day and learn him. And I know what he eats better than what I know I eat at this point. Yep. It's like, it's such a slow process. I really got to tell. And I really think that's a huge benefit to the online coaching.
Guys like that are the guys I like using the creamy with if they have it. Like, I've used it myself because you get that big old pint. And then you're I'm always freezing for like 30 minutes after eating it. Like I put a sweatshirt on and all that. But after eating all that, and then some of the sugar, alcohols, and stuff, like you feel full. Like you don't want to eat anything else. So I have one guy. He's got an obnoxious appetite like that too. Like he's like cutting for a show at 2,900 calories, but he's only like 200 pounds or something like that. It's like crazy. But yeah, he eats like 3 or 4 of them a day. I'm like, all right, let's try to get more whole foods in, but like 3 a day if it keeps you full, like let's keep doing it. If it stops you from eating an entire pizza and 6 margaritas like you did that one week, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. This is a win. This is a win.
Yeah, he was like 3,000 calories over his high day. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like,
this is a little intense. This is a hard. I don't know. It's like, oh, well, even it out during the week. I'm like, what are you going to eat the rest of the week? Air?
Yeah, think he wasn't on prep at that time. He dialed it in sense, but I'm like, you can't do that on prep. That ain't gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, there's no way to move this forward in any way that's going to work out for us.
No, not unless we do 2 hours of extra cardio the rest of the week.
Yeah, exactly. How, as far as cardio goes for your bodybuilding preps, are you big into cardio? Do you mostly use steps? How do you do it?
It's kind of a mix of all. Like, I don't like taking the food away right away because I feel like that's the last thing you really need to pull from. But yeah, I mean, once you're up to, about an hour of cardio or so, I mean, that's obviously sometimes you need to go above that, but I don't love like just crushing people with cardio. I try to do the steps, cardio, and food and kind of use all three together to get the deficit down rather than just push one lever super hard. But with some people, you do need to push that lever hard just because they have trouble losing fat. But ideally, you would just take kind of a little bit from each and make small changes every week to get there.
Yeah, I found for myself personally, and for a lot of my clients, like because I was a fighter, I do a ton of cardio, just part of the game, and it's very high intensity cardio. And I would always struggle with my diet, and I didn't really ever understand why. And it wasn't until I got into being a trainer and knowing that most people care about aesthetics, even if they're coming to me to learn how to box, really they want to be ripped. And then I was like, okay, so you guys say you want to box, you really want to be ripped, so let's do like 1 day of boxing and 3 days weightlifting. And
that's always funny. So, I mean, you look at guys like Nate Diaz, he's got a shit physique, but he can fight. Like, it's not how you look. Yeah,
I think it's nothing to do with it. Because, like, you could hit that. You could be, I've seen some of the slickest boxers, and you see them in the gym, you're like, you wouldn't even know that guy doesn't work at the grocery store. Like, you have no idea. Like, there's no tone of muscle that tells you. His technique, he's a killer. He's basically an assassin. But, yeah, he doesn't look like it. And a lot of times we're like, oh, I want to look like a fighter. You want to look like a certain fighter. Not all
Yeah.
fighters look the same.
Yeah.
All bodybuilders look pretty good. That's a better aim if your goal is aesthetics. Look at a sport that's based on aesthetics.
Yep.
So I basically got so deep into it. I was wanting to provide the most value I could for my clients. That I started using a lot of techniques, and I actually stopped doing a ton of cardio when I'm getting lean. I just focus on steps. Like I would go from like, I'm already active, but I would do like 12,000 steps to like 25,000 steps a day.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and that was my cardio for the day, and I would just take meetings on the go. I would do, I would have all my talks, even when I was in the gyms while I was waiting for clients. If I was training clients in the gym, I'd walk on the treadmill while I was waiting. And I lost weight. Like I got down to single-digit body fat for a bet with one of my clients. I had a big bet with him that I could do it. I got down in 7 weeks, extremely tough, like 1,600 calories a day for like 7 weeks straight. I mean, about 25,000, but it was working just fine. Like I was able to control my hunger, not have those big spikes where I felt like I was dying from day to day. And then it just was steps.
Like, I feel like if you live in cities and stuff, it's easier too because you can walk places. Like when I was in Nashville, like we walked from one end of Nashville to the other and back, like to the car. Like I didn't mind doing it, but I live in a real rural area with no freaking sidewalks anywhere. So I have a husky. I'll take him. Like we'll go on a couple long walks a day. But for me, like getting steps in because I'm always at my desk. And then just because there's no sidewalks, we walk the same route, but then it's all woods and stuff. So I'm not going to walk through the woods with them in the middle of nowhere. For me, actually getting the hybrid of steps and cardio works better because I get on the stair climber and try to crank that thing up. I can usually get about 10K or so, like during the day. I'm pretty good about that. But when like Colton will put my steps up to 14 or 16 sometimes, then I struggle to hit that target unless I go to the gym and purposely do steps at the gym. Like between sets, I'll start pacing around. People probably wondering what the fuck I'm doing, looking at my watch and all that. But it's just try to get extra steps in between sets is all I'm doing.
Yeah, it's crazy how much that can get up. Like I remember one day I had COVID. Actually, I got COVID, and it was the early days, and I got locked in my room. The hotel found out I had COVID. Like, yeah, you can't leave for 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, now I'm stuck. I was actually stuck in this exact room here in London for 2 weeks, and I was getting 10,000 steps a day just from talking to people and trying not to go stir crazy and just going like
pacing back and
forth. It's amazing how many steps you can do. I tell my clients all the time, like, it doesn't have to be like you're getting on the treadmill to go there. You're going for a walk. If you can literally be like, I'm watching this TV show and I'm just gonna go. Unless your wife wants to stab you halfway through it, you can get quite a few steps in doing that.
I have always thought about getting one of the little desk treadmills that slide under your desk. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot of times I'm like, I need to actually type. So if you're bouncing around, you can't really get that. That's the only thing that stops me from doing it, really. That or if I'm recording, because I do a lot of recording things, I'm like, I can't be walking as I'm recording because then I'm just stupid. But if I'm doing like a live, I'll do Zoom calls inside of our school. We have a school for our bodybuilding and business coaching too. Like I do the lives on Sunday. Colton does them on Thursdays. I'll do those live sometimes as I'm on the treadmill, like just walk in and do it there. That's fine, stuff like that. But if I'm taking like a professional like call with somebody who's not a client or doing admin work, I really can't and still perform. Unfortunately, believe me, I would love to, but sometimes you just got to sit down.
It's true. Sometimes it's better. If I have to do like a client call, I have to do a podcast. I wouldn't be able to do it on my phone.
No, but I mean, if it's a client that like you're super familiar with, like I got one who's been with me for over a year, and he'll message me as he's meal prepping, and I'll do it like while I'm on the treadmill. That's fine. But if it's somebody new, like you want to look professional, so you got to sit down. And
you got to sit down. You got to be like, hey, I'm paying attention to you. This isn't. I'm not taking this lightly. Yeah. I'm curious. Now that you're coaching clients and they're coming into, I know that you have. Basically, one of the things you said on your online that I read is like you're taking guys that are making 100K or over. You've explained that because basically you want people that are seriously able to commit and invest in their health. But you also have created a school, which I think it's like $100 and something per month that you can join in and basically get a lot of the value, maybe not the one-on-one coaching aspect to it. How do you see, as far as from two ends? One, as a coach, how do you see people getting results that maybe don't have the 100K a month that joined the school? How are you seeing the results with that? versus where do you see the real benefits with the guys that are able to invest in your program? Where are they getting their most benefits from you? And on the other side of the business, how about the revenue split? Do you see more people jumping in for the school, more for the one-on-one?
Yeah, I still see more people jump on the one-on-ones. Like surprisingly, like because I've been raising my prices too because I have myself and my assistant coach, and I've been trying to like limit slots on me so I can do everything I needed to do. And I've been actually really surprised, even doubling my prices last month. Like people are still choosing to pay for the higher tier packages. So I mean, it's from a business standpoint, it's good, obviously, but at some point, I need to get some on my assistant coach so he can do his thing, I can do my thing, and that makes it a little easier on us as a business, but. For me, targeting the 100K people, it's more about the non-negotiables and like just they have a set of standards that most people don't have. Like they have the financial discipline, they know what they're going to do. If they come to you, they're fine trading their money for time. Like that's what the transaction is. You don't have any questions on the sales calls or people haggling over $10 fucking dollars. And like that's the shit I can't stand. Like I'll give you the value and everything. Like we'll make a decision. They don't do that stuff where they get on the call and they like make up an excuse like, oh, I need to talk to my wife, or like, you know, it's basically just a smoke screen and they run away and ghost. And I'm like, just be upfront with me. Like, you want to do this or not?
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter to me. Like, if you want to go, let's do. If you don't, then no. But people will get afraid to tell you no. Whereas I feel like the more high performing guys, if they feel like the value's not there, they'll tell you like, yeah, I just don't feel like it's there for me, you know? And it's a straight up answer. It makes it easy. Like, I'd rather have that. I'm straightforward with everybody I talk to. So for me, that's easy. But I did start offering, so we have the school is kind of like an offset thing with me and Colton anyway. We started using that a little bit for group coaching. I'm also getting my own app made right now by a company to do like more customized, like kind of like the group setting essentially. Yeah. So it'll be my assistant coach manages it. And then we do like a Zoom live call as a group, once or twice a week inside of there. So it's kind of its own thing. The school right now is kind of a hybrid between some of those people, but also we are teaching people how to do content creation, how to be coaches online, like organic. So Colton and I put together like probably 10 hours of information on Instagram and YouTube and how to do everything like your search engine optimization, how to think of topics, even using AI to come up with topics, writing scripts, etc. for when you start doing like YouTube and Instagram more often. We actually have one client, Runvis Coaching, Garrett. Some people have seen him online. He's very anti-science-based lifters. He had 400 followers last month, and he's up to almost 25K now in 1 month of following our framework on that. So for him, it's been a life-changing thing because all of a sudden he's huge on Instagram and he's getting coaching clients left and right.
Is he the guy that goes after scientific?
The mustache with the, yes. That's Garrett. Yeah, that's Garrett.
I've been watching the beef recently.
Well, what's even funnier is Snitch is actually in there. She did a course on the main gaining and stuff inside our school. She's in there and he's in there. They argue in our Discord more than they do in the school, but they all know each other. Let's put it that way. We're very familiar. So anything they do on Instagram's already happened somewhere else. It just spills over.
It spills over on Instagram.
That's why I just laugh about it. I don't comment on it because I get along with both of them. So I'm like, I'm just going to let it fucking slide.
I had Snitch on my podcast. And I then had I had Max Coleman as well on my podcast, and they had been much more civil back and forth with each other for a while too. And then I saw your other guy came in, and now it's like there's like 5 guys. They're back and forth. Like my Instagram feed's constant. Like you guys are fighting over like the most nuanced stuff ever. It's hilarious.
Well, that's why my response is always we're just arguing over semantics at this point. I don't fucking care. Like, that's all it is. It's like the small detail that doesn't matter. But yeah, inside the school, we also just finished the first part of our business coaching, like showing people how to set up an LLC, get your EIN number, all that. So you have your legal shit, your business bank account, all that set up. Because a lot of people just wing it. And then now you've mixed your personal finances in your business. And the end of the year, you go to your tax guy and you're like, oh shit, what do I do? Like U.S. taxes, that gets real hairy really fast. So you want to have all your business stuff separated, especially when you go to write things off versus your personal. So we go through all that stuff, and then we're going to have like a one-on-one business course on the back end where we take people in one-on-one and help them build everything up once they're at a certain point. So that's kind of its own thing, but we have all of the training and diet resources in there that we use for our coaching. So we do kind of use it as like a group coaching area too, where some people are in there just to learn more, get access to the food calculators, the cookbooks, all that, and then they want to get healthy that way. learn how to do that, and then when they feel comfortable with it, they want to start doing the content creation and show people their weight loss journey and all that. So it kind of ties together, but it is a little bit muddied right now. But we are going to separate things out a little more with the business versus the Gen Pop and showing people how to do things.
It's interesting. Did you jumped into the business coaching side of it? Was it because you feel like there's just a lot of demand for that right now, and like there's a lot of trainers trying to jump online, or was it like it fell into your lap somehow?
A little bit of both, because like, I mean, as I told you, like with me, I went like 2 years barely making shit doing it. Like, and everybody's always has trouble getting clients, and just getting in, working with people who are doing it at a higher level, and then seeing there's a certain structure to it that if you have that in place, everything kind of falls together. Then being able to share that with people and showing them, hey, this is how we do it without running ads. Like I've just started running ads. Everything's organic. Same thing with Paul. Like Paul does everything organic. Like you can make a good enough living to where you can quit your 9 to 5, make 6 figures doing this if you do it the right way. It's just a matter of knowing, because a lot of it's just you don't know too, because you just jump into it. People have, fill out my application in my bio or whatever. I'm like, if they don't know you, they haven't made the connection with you, they're not going to go and just fill out your application for no reason. Like people aren't going to waste their time doing that or go look for it. So a lot of that just came down to, once I installed that system in my business, all of a sudden it blew up to where I could get out of my 9 to 5, and I want to share that with other people, how they could do it too. Because it's really not hard. It's just having the structure and taking the leap. As I say, you got to throw your balls on the table a little bit and actually like make the content, put it all out. And then when you're ready for it, then you can make the ask, and people will appreciate the content and you helping them out. So if your offer is really good, you're helping people, they're happy, they'll be willing to pay you. But you need to have all that shit in place first before you just go and ask.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I realized this too early on when I first started online. I was completely lost online, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was the same way.
I was I wasn't a big Instagram guy. Like I had like a couple thousand followers up from like when I was in the UFC, that I got like a little bump because I was in the UFC for like a second, and it was like, oh yeah, I got like that little. And I didn't do anything with it either. Like I posted while I was in the UFC because it was in my contract. I had to try to, and I would just be like, I guess I put up this picture of me here, good, whatever.
Yeah,
I wasn't too into it, and I thought about going online for training like 2-3 times. And I would kind of half put my foot out there, but then bring it back. And I was like, fuck it, this is a waste of time. I'm not going to do it. It's a waste of time. I'm not going to do it. And it wasn't until, last year, like a year and a half ago, my business partner basically was like in between jobs, and he was like, he worked in marketing for bigger brands, and he was kind of like, I'm just sick. I don't want to go back into this corporate world. Like I just, ugh. And I was like, I kind of want to do this online thing since we might as well. Like, why don't we just try this together? And so we started it out. And in the beginning, it was like crickets. Like it took me, I was shocked because I'd basically been a personal trainer for years. So I'd always be like, I'm a personal trainer. I meet Jim. What's up, Jim? Yeah, bring John in a while. Then I would just, that's how it would build. And I expected, for some reason, I was like, I'm open for training. And everyone's like, we don't give a shit. And I was like, okay.
And that's what we hope to provide with the school too, is because like Colton and Garrett and I have bigger audiences now. So like the guys who start, like we'll repost their stuff or like answer them, so they get more exposure to people, so people kind of see their personalities too and get interested in like maybe being their client. Like not every single follower I have is going to be my client or relate to me more. They might relate to Garrett and his style better. They might relate to one of the weight loss guys better. So like I'm fine sharing audiences and doing that and helping guys build up, because I've been there where I had 200 followers for like a year. I only had 200 followers and just posted shit that nobody saw. And I had way more trolls and haters then, because it's like, you only have 200 followers, what the fuck do you know? And then all of a sudden, once you get to like 2,000 plus, like that calms down and it's not as bad. But that first stage is kind of rough.
Yeah, I called it screaming into the abyss. It sort of felt like I would put like all this effort in a piece of content. I'd be like, okay, post it. It's going to be great. Nothing. And then I would post something just out of like, I got to post something. I just posted, but great. I'm like, I don't understand this. I don't understand what's happening.
I found the sequences where you like take somebody else's content and then you post about it right after, that gets pushed in the algorithm a lot more. That's what Garrett's done exclusively at this point. I still do a lot of where I take my YouTube videos and chop them up with AI. And then like my cycle reviews and shit, like those are all YouTube videos that I just cut up and reuse them as shorts. And that's what I've always done there. But those YouTube videos, I mean, I would spend 6 hours editing them. Like I pay an editor close to $200 for a lot of these videos. So YouTube, I just piss money away in, but it works well for marketing when I go to repurpose it. And every now and then you'll get a paid in full off YouTube. So it's not like it's a total loss, but I still definitely lose money on YouTube versus everyone else.
Do you have a question? This is something I've been thinking about with my business. Have you ever heard of a guy named James Smith? He's kind of popular.
Yeah. I actually watched quite a bit of his stuff in the past.
Yeah, he has some good stuff I watch. And he has this theory of not booking calls, coaching calls. Like he really thinks
I'm actually, that's the one thing that I'm against with him, but he's got so many million followers, it doesn't matter to him. Whereas when you're smaller, you have to get those personal connections, like get on the phone with them, talk to them, make that connection, let them know you're not a scammer, you're not AI. Because with AI now, everybody's trust is at like an all-time low. So I feel like unless you have that big audience that already knows you, it's really hard not to if you want to charge premium pricing at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Because what always worried me is like, okay, great. I would buy easily a $35 program online without talking to somebody, no problem. I mean, for me personally, because I make a decent living wage, I would be happy to pay even a couple $100 a month without even talking. But if you start telling me, like, hey, I'm interested in your program for like over $1,000, I'd be like, who are you? Like, are you gonna? I talk with you every day. I want to know who you are, even a bit. And I was curious if you do that, or if you are also you got to apply to your coaching to have a conversation.
No, I mean I have consults that are like $200 a pop, but if it's a full program, like the app I'm developing, they're gonna be able to go through it themselves and kind of do their own thing. Like you click on it and get in there. That's fine. It's just be a couple $100. But for my normal one-on-one, I want to meet the person too, because I say no to some people. Like if we're not a good match, I'm not gonna deal with it. Like I'm good where I'm at. As I said, I'm trying to get my assistant coach filled up more than myself at this point. So for me, it's very much a mutual like interview where we're both kind of seeing, hey, are we gonna work well together? Do you find value in this? Yes, no, and then we'll make a decision from there versus just treating it like a sales call. That's my way of doing it. And I used to be like, I hate being on the phone. Like I fucking hate taking phone calls. At the therapy clinic, if the phone rang next to me, I'd be like, yeah, you guys can get it, or I would just go to the bathroom because I didn't want to answer it. Because I hate getting in the South too. People just drag out conversations. I'm like, dude, I got better things to do. Like let's get to the point. I do my calls on Zoom now, so you actually see me, and I'm used to talking on camera now, so it's not as big a deal. But after running it that way for a while, I realized the value in it, and I actually prefer doing the calls now versus not. I feel like a lot of times you send somebody a payment link or you go back and forth in the DMs, it might take you 3 weeks before they actually get around to clicking it. Whereas you do it on the call, they're like ready to go. We're good. We get you in. We get your program to you within 24 hours. Everybody's happy. Speed's there. Everybody's more happy. So I prefer that approach more. I think James, it works for him really well because he has millions and millions of followers and he's been online for 15 years. So he's got a built-in advantage there.
Yeah, he has the authority.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's one thing that I really underestimated in the beginning was how long it would take time to build the level of authority among the people that are following me to be like, hey, actually, you know what is your opinion on this? And then it's like, oh yeah, this is my opinion. This is how I would do it. Like, oh, great. Do you coach people? It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, like that took like a year and a half in. It wasn't until now that it started even happening.
What's even weirder to me, what's even weirder is I'll get on calls with people and they're like, oh my God, it's you in the flesh. And I'm like, yeah, it's me in my guest bedroom. Like, I treat you like a celebrity. And I'm like when I posted, I made the mistake. I'm not going to do this anymore. I posted it in Nashville while I was in Nashville, like at the bar I was at. And I had like 6 DMs like, oh, are you Kid Rocks right now? I'm like, how the fuck do you guys know this? Like, it's like you're almost like a celebrity. You're like, all right, I gotta stop doing that. Like,
you did not foresee this as a problem.
No, I didn't. I was like, what the hell? Like, how did they all know? Like, it was just a picture of the band, and they all knew what bar I was in, where I was at, everything. I'm like,
you can't mess around online.
No,
did not mess around. They post a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I'm actually curious about something. So you're working out with the TRT clinic. I think that's awesome. We're also working for our new GLP-1 protocol with a peptide clinic in Florida as well. that directly that they can go to. How does that work for you? So I'm sure a lot of people come to you, ask you for advice on like what they should be taking, especially for performance enhancing drugs, uh, kind of understanding protocols. Now, are you working directly with the doctor? They call you, have a consult, and then you put them in a consult with the doctor. How does that work?
It's optional. So, I mean, not everybody's going to take that because the way they do it's kind of like HIMSS where they do the blood work on the front end and they connect with the doctors in the back and the doctors review the blood work, recommend supplement or PED or not PED, TRT packages based on their blood work. A lot of guys I get are going to want to run more than what is allowed by the clinic anyway. So it's there as a value give if they want it. If they want the medical guidance, great. It's there and they can get it at a better rate. So I want to offer it as part of the program because most programs don't have that ability to offer that. And I pay quite a bit of money to get access to it. I do also have discounted blood work through like Quest, and they can order that there if they're doing a little more of a heavy duty cycle and they want that. But yeah, the TRT, it's kind of optional because my demographic is like 50-50. Some guys really want it. Other guys are like, nah, dude, I'm going to run under the table stuff. So I'm not going to force them to go to the doctor, the TRT doctor, you know? So I'm going to force them to go to their general doctor. Yes. Not the TRT doctor.
Yeah, definitely the general doctor. That's something I'm quite strict on with my clients that are taking some kind of performance enhancing drugs, like especially when they start adding.
Like take your fucking blood pressure. A lot of them won't take blood pressure. It's on my check-in form. They can't go past it now. It's mandatory.
Yeah, that's good. It's so important. Like you see guys like they're running like 500 milligrams a test. It's like okay, whatever, and they're like, oh, I'm adding some Primo in it. It's like, oh, when's the last time you did your blood test? We haven't even talked about your last. But where's your blood pressure at? Like, let's start adding compounds haphazardly. Like these things should be treated with a lot of respect and moved at them slowly.
And that's assuming they're not lying to you. I had one guy get on a consult and he told me he was running like 900 tests, 700 tren. All this. He's 60 years old, by the way. He goes to fill out his onboarding form and come to find out it was 1,400 tests, 900 tren. Like it was like 3 grams of shit. I'm like, dude, like you're cutting this in half right now and we're going to keep getting lower. Like,
yeah, we're going to go down.
he lied to me on the call about it. He was running even more and it was already excessive in the first place. I was like, dude, like you're 60. You do not need a gram of tren.
Yeah. Oh God. You hear some of the clients will say stuff to you like, I had one of my clients recently, he got off of testosterone. His reasoning to get off was, I've been on for too long. There wasn't really much more than that. I just want to get off. I was like, okay, like let's slowly start doing that. I was talking with the doctors. Let's get some consults. We did. He comes and he's like, man, should I get back on? I don't feel good. I'm like, how did you expect you were on a good amount of stuff? Like, of course you're not going to feel as good as you were there. Like, this is part of the deal. Like, we have to get through. You haven't even got off yet. Like, we need to go. He's like, no, I want to get back on. And maybe we should up the dose. What do I think about Primo? They start sending me like all these. I'm like, come on, guys. You were just too on it for too long, you told me. Now you're trying to like add other androgens in.
That doesn't surprise me whatsoever. And it's funny, guys, they'll tell you, like, I don't have money for X, Y, and Z, and they send you a picture of their peptide fridge that's an entire mini fridge full of peptides. And I'm like, you told me you didn't have money for something basic, and then you show me you have $10,000 of peptides sitting in your room. Like, that drives me nuts, too.
Yeah, I get that all the time. I think it's something that the one thing I think that is the best part about coaching, that is the most important part for clients, is the accountability you have and having someone there to hold you. Because we're all, as humans, we're in our own head. It's hard to judge our own actions appropriately. I can say that for myself as much as anybody else. Like, I might be like, man, whatever. I get the ideas in my head. If I didn't have a doctor and someone to talk to regularly, I'd be like, feel pretty good on, it's 100 milligrams, make it 200. Well, imagine how I feel if I hit 400. I know where I'm taking a lot more stuff than I was hoping because I never really wanted to go far above, the TRT doses. I've always wanted to be more cautious with it. But I can catch myself. I get these ideas. I start thinking about something. I didn't have someone that went to me like, why do you want to do this? What's your goal? Are you trying to be a bodybuilder? Are you trying? I'm like, no. Damn it. Okay, fine. You're right. If I didn't have somebody there to do that, who knows what I would be doing.
That's the same reason why I keep a coach too. Because I haven't checked in a couple of weeks. I've been bad about it, but I find myself all of a sudden, like, you're just adding a couple of, extra carbs here and there. And it's like, oh, well, I'm not trying to get super shredded now. I'll do 45 minutes of cardio instead of 55. And it just adds up over time. Whereas if you have that plan, you follow it to a T, you don't have that problem. But if you go a few weeks without that plan, all of a sudden the edges of it tend to roll up a little bit and you get a little more loose with things and your look's just not as good too. So I feel like that helps also, the accountability of knowing I have to go check in and rate this. Like, no, I didn't do that this week. Like, just knowing that you didn't fucking do it, because I'm a terrible liar. Like, I can't fucking lie about it. So
same. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest and tell my coach, like, if I mess up, like, listen, man, like, I went, there's Ben and Jerry's, it was ugly, it was me in a room. I just don't want to talk about it, but it happened. Just know.
But once it's on there, then you're like, I'm not going to do it again for at least another few months, because, like, no, I don't want to have that conversation again.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. Well, listen, Seth, I really appreciate having you on. We ran up to the hour. I don't want to take too much of your time. If anyone wants to come and check out your coaching, I'm going to look into a little bit into your coaching, the business coaching stuff too, because I'm interested in it. I've been watching your content. If anyone wants to watch, I'm going to link your Instagram below. And if you have any website you would like people to go to find you, you can shout it out right now.
Yeah, say it's really just the Instagram right now. I have a company building up my websites right now, so I don't have an official link besides my scheduling page. But the scheduling page and the school, they're in my Instagram bio. So I would say that's the best spot to still get a hold of me right now.
All right, I appreciate it. Seth, thank you for coming on the podcast. This is another episode of How They Did It.
Man, appreciate it.